Hey everybody, I am Tani, and in the corner, my name is Cinnamon Cooney. I am your Art Sherpa, and now I'm back because on the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He helps me bring you these live art classes. I've been doing this for 10 years online, and today I'd love to show you guys how you can paint this gorgeous stag in autumn. Now, I've rated this painting a 2 hoot, and for those of you that have been painting along with me lately, yay, it's shorter. So it's not going to take as long as the other paintings we've been doing lately because we've been doing some deep dive paintings. So this one is not as time intensive or material intensive. And that's what I really like about it. It's a great autumn scene. It's a good scene, you know, if you want to give a gift. It's a good scene if you're somebody that loves nature or wildlife. And it's just a fantastic painting to learn about value techniques because it's almost monochromatic, which means it's got it's not truly a monochromatic painting, but it has a very small series of colors. So it's definitely harmonious and harmonious to the edge of being almost singular, which lets us focus on how light or dark something is. And that's just the number one thing that can make us better artists. I will be demonstrating techniques again with a couple different tools in the 1264 Fabriano multimedia pad. If you want to do that along with me, I highly encourage it. I highly encourage you starting to swatch your paint, test your techniques, work your stuff out even in your own space. So anyway, I can help you do that. If you are here for the live, as many of you are, and you have a question, put them all in caps. We will not think you're at all shouting at us. The moderators who are here are volunteers, and they've been here forever. Many of them since my first video practically on YouTube. Maybe actually, yes, my first video. And so they know what all the 2,500 videos I've done are, and I did not misspeak that number. And help you find those resources. Like I've taught many beginner acrylic painting courses to get you guys started from not painting at all to painting very comfortably. So like they can help you find the best one and everything there. All right, let's go over the materials that we're going to be using, which is also in the description below. And in the description below, not only is the materials, there's a link to the website. The website has the traceable because I don't expect people to draw. I hope I encourage you to learn to do it. It's as fun as painting, and I highly recommend it, but I don't expect it. So there's a traceable there you can download for free. The materials are also there, and there's a link to my art store. So if there's something here, the canvas, a brush, whatever, that you would like to get, and you're here in North America, we have good prices on our stuff, and now we have $10 shipping, so that's much more doable. I want to thank everybody for checking out Honey's new short too that just dropped. That was really exciting for me and exciting for Honey. And a great way to encourage them on their 19th birthday. If you guys don't know, it's my eldest kid's 19th birthday tomorrow. So
that's exciting.
For those of you that have known Honey since the beginning of the channel. Wow. All right. 11 by 14 surface, burnt sienna, dioxazine purple, cad red medium, cad yellow medium. I have yellow ochre here. I have ultramarine blue, Mars black, and titanium white. This is pretty simplistic. I'm going to use a gridding system, probably to help so we can like lay everything out. Let me get that set up over here. My reference never wants to let me set it up. Don't worry. I don't mean we're gridding today. No, you know what? It's not going to let me do it right now. First step. I'm going to throw up a step. We do steps. These steps are time stamped. That way you can find a technique, a place you were at on a painting. You're going to spend longer on your painting session than I spend on mine. I'm going to take yellow ochre and paint the whole surface yellow ochre. Now I'm going to put it out funny. That's a me thing. That doesn't need to be a you thing. I'm going to maybe say fall.
It's super important to get that bottom part of the L on the middle one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Otherwise, I think you write fail. And I might edit that out by accident because I didn't understand that's what you were writing.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't edit these things out. This is how people know I am not AI. Because AI would never be this bad at doing things.
She did this on another one of our shorts, but the L in the middle didn't get an L. It turned into an I. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, why does the painting say fail? All right, I'm not going to put that part in the painting.
This is water in a mister that is like 10 cents or 15 cents or whatever.
Put that back over there. Let me get the. I want to focus on the near side. That's better.
Here? Okay.
It can see more of the stuff
Just
above.
water.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I misted it just so I can spread this color out. You can just paint it yellow. You can paint the sides if you want to, if you're not into framing. Oh, and I did give the bluebirds, the unicorn. Well, it's not really a unicorn. It's more of a Christmas stallion. And the owl to the team to post for potential sales. So if you go by the art store, you'll see Sherpa paintings for sale. Right now, the only one that has not found a home is the two ghosties in the window.
I don't know if that's been. We had to get the picture up.
It doesn't say sold out.
Oh, we'll have to go check it out.
Yes, I'm like, maybe they need dots in their eyes. They're too hollow-eyed. People are like, they're freaking me out. But the horse is going to be there really soon. The owl that has the panthers hunting him. You can see that in the shorts. And also the bluebirds, which you can see in the shorts. I will be putting the unicorn up for a vote soon. If you guys want to paint it, you will have to let me know. But I was like, I painted it already, so it might as well go to a good home.
Yep.
I'm rinsing out my brush. I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to wash this thoroughly after my session when I'm done. Why do I remind you guys of that? Because it's the number one thing you can do to save money in your art studio is to clean up your brushes after every painting session with soap and water, and clean up your art studio and recap your paint and take care of your things, because this stuff generally lasts a long time as you're going, but you can wear your materials out quickly with bad care.
Yes, for sure.
Just something you got to tell beginners, because how would you know that? How would you know that? Especially if you'd been in watercolor. Watercolor does not need as much, love and attention.
No. Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to warn everybody. We're going to put we're going to put a little ad in here so that we don't get one, hopefully, over the next step, because they time them out. But if I put them in here, then hopefully it won't give you one later. So, warning, ad break. And for everybody else that didn't get ad breaked, I guess you have YouTube Red, because that's what I've got as well. So I don't see the ads. So I'm guessing that's the only way you don't see that. I'm sorry for the ads. If we put an ad in, then apparently it starts a timer that won't put one in for at least another, I think, 18 minutes. So as long as we manually insert one on the breaks, then you won't get one in the middle of the painting. And that's what we're trying to avoid by doing it this way. And you guys will have to let us know how that's working out, because we're doing our best to manage that with the tools that we have. But one of the good things is that generally the ads, the reason why I put them here is Cinnamon's generally going to be drying for at least 15 to 30 seconds, or if not drying, talking. So you'll have a chance to catch up, because we're not fast about things. So we just, she says it's taking excessively long to dry today. Maybe the paint is just, maybe it's moist air. but I tell you what, we have there's an area heater on over here behind her, which is going to dry the air out really fast. So she may actually have trouble later in the painting with her palette getting dried out because of the air. But anyway,
that's so weird that
weird.
It's drying on my palette, but not on my canvas. Is a very strange set of events. Now I'm going to divide my canvas into 4 parts. I don't care about paint over that. And I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. You would do yours with chalk. I'm going to do mine with paint so you can see it. I'm going to use the Hefty Defty Art Alternatives ruler. This is an 11 by 14. So what I need to do is make a little mark, and I'll use white paint so it's not overwhelming.
Yep.
At the halfway point. So if it's 14 inches, I know 7 inches is my halfway point. So I can make a vertical line at 7 inches, but I also, at 7 inches. And then, so at the 7-inch mark of your surface with chalk, I'm going to use paint. Right? I'm going to put in that line. Now I'm going to measure on this halfway down, which is 5.5 inches. I think it's 14 centimeters. And I'm going to make a horizontal line. Now, some of my strategies, work better for different types of brain maps. So just know that these are just strategies. And if you have a better one that works better for you, I am not offended if you do it. Being an artist is about having strategy. Now, I do like the Art Alternatives thicker one here. This is really nice. Just so you know, I'm thinking it's wonderful. So our deer, his head lives almost right around here, and the horizon line is about an inch down. Right, where we see the lake kind of become something different than the rest of the painting. So now I need to come down about an inch with my T-square, as you do, trying to get as straight a line as you can. I guess I'll use this here. Now this time I'm going to use kind of a little, I think I'll use a little black and brown. Everything above this crisp edge is going to be the sky and those trees. Now, you're doing your traceable right now. You don't got to worry about this stuff as much, but I would still make sure that you set the horizon line. It's not really horizon line, the water line. The more accurate horizon line is way off here, actually. But basically, this is the end of our view before the trees and the sky start to bother us. So that's why we're bothers. They get to visit us. It's a weird way of wording it. Oh, I'm gotta be in a weird mood today. Who knew? Right? And so then from here, oh gosh, almost. And then here, I'm gonna come down almost to the halfway point, right, of my center line. And it does touch my center line, and I'm going to come down a little bit further down here. And I know I've got some little lake mountain nonsense. If you're doing the traceable, you can just follow these lines and put them in. I just like to do little generalized lines just so I know where objects are. Right, so this is above the edge here. And it's going to come, if this is there, just see where that water's edge is, it's going to be just a little bit above or below that. So now we have this sense of what is going to be our lake, our land, our sky, and our distant line. So now I can come work this. Now, if you put all of your traceable lines on, a suggestion I might make is to loosely, in a light color, like a brown color, sketch those lines in with paint and allow it to completely dry, because that will hold those lines for you a little longer in the painting and give you some more forgiveness and time to work out the painting. Now I'm going to put out some satin glazing liquid. Maybe it will be all for naught. This product, and gosh, I know you're new, but if you think you're going to do a few acrylic paintings, I recommend getting this. I don't work for the company. I like the people over there. It's employee owned. I recommend them, but I recommend them because in all the years I've been alive, they've been a good company. This product, though, is a slow drying extender for acrylic colors. This means you can glaze and you can slow down the drying time of your paint and have longer blendability. For beginners, man, you guys are thinking and working stuff out. It'll be so nice, right, to have a little more drying time. So that's why I recommend it. That's why I use it. Slows down the drying time of my paint. Lets me glaze when I need to. So nice when I'm trying to do a sky or an ombre or anything like that. And let's begin that. Let's put up a new step.
Okay.
Or did we already do step?
No.
Oh,
now
okay.
We have a step 3.
Now I'm going to take a 3/4 inch catalyst. It's just a little angle brush. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to take a little of my yellow and a smidge of my red here. And I'm going to come across my canvas. If I need blending medium, I'm going to use it because I don't want to struggle. Little cad yellow. And I'm far down below where my trees are, right? And that's going to let me have room to have trees be high and trees be low.
Like in that mirror-y kind of way?
I'm not mirroring. Well, no, because they don't even mirror. It's because, so these trees are going to have uneven edges.
Layers
and
of trees.
yeah, if I come in Like I have here, I added a little more red, so this is getting darker as it goes up.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. And this sort of the atmospheric layering creates the depth of tree.
Right.
It's not magic.
You could paint the deer first and paint all these little things fussily around the deer.
You could.
You could.
That would be
fine. It's fine. It's total way of doing that.
You do that sometimes too, because you like to paint those objects in because you have a story you're telling, and then like you have so you want stuff in specific places, so you paint around it in different orders.
Exactly. See, the blending medium just gives me enough time to blend what I've got. I've got a hair on there, and I keep thinking I'm going to get it off, and then it's not going to come off. I think it's going to become forensic evidence. Just going in there. And I'm just adding a little more red into it so that I've got some nice orange coming down, right? The blending medium really allows me, I don't have to worry about too down here. It's not that hard to do this one. There we go. As soon as we have it where we like it, we rinse our brush out, right? And we're going to dry everything.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to dry. I'm going to push a button. Boop. Okay, so that means we got to talk for 15 to 30 seconds about pretty much nonsense. And that's more or less what I talk about anyway. So nonsense. So we hope we don't cause any of the people who had to go away on the commercial break any trouble to miss anything. So, you can go to our website and you can check that out. There's cool stuff there. You can hit the thumbs up and the like button and the share button. Those are all good things to push. There's very human-y cool things. You can comment if you are visiting.
Are you recording this for a time-lapse, babe?
Yes.
Yay!
So while we're because the people who are away on their commercial, we're gonna let them just have a second. Don't forget to check out our website and our new e-commerce store. It's working. We sell all like 90% of the stuff you see on the show now. We have in our store, and we're working on getting all the stuff new up there as soon as we can. We do best to keep our prices really good.
It's just too tight.
Oh, too tight is okay.
Okay, it's just moving it. I think I did good.
Yeah. All right. Now, I think we're ready to go on to the next step. Probably everybody's back from commercial. We haven't covered anything.
From commercials. Thank you very much. All right. So for every creator out there that's out there, YouTube is just really pushing ads more. That's where they've got to make their money. And for me as a creator, I have to allow them to run ads. We've tried to limit in a reasonable way. And it is good for us because it allows us to make resources, if you're for people who are viewing that's nice of YouTube to do, but John's trying to make it easier for everybody.
We can't control if, but we can control when.
We're trying
we're trying to do that when she's hair drying.
We're trying to control when.
And it'll be an ongoing conversation with you guys.
All right. So I'm going to pull a couple of brushes to talk about.
I think so, Pam.
How we might be doing what we're about to do.
Email support at the Art Sherpa. I'm not sure if it's working yet, but we've had some email problems, but we'll definitely address that. I think we ship to Alaska, but I don't know.
So we're about to do these distant little bushes.
Distant shrubbery.
Let's get our... This is what I'm using, and I like this. And I think I wish I'd had this when I did Big Art Quest, guys. For those of you, if anyone hears... who was here from the pairs, you don't know how much I wish I had this product for Big Art Quest. It was exactly what I was looking for. Regardless, we have it now.
We have it now.
If you're doing Big Art Quest, grab one of these. It'll be so helpful. So I'm going to come here, and this is very tolerant to acrylic paint, and I'm going to show you some different effects so that you're managing your expectations. I'm going to use my round blender. This is a number 12 Princeton Select Round Blender. And I'm going to come here and I'll just show you with brown. And I load it up and it's going to be stippling.
Hold on. Hold on right there. I'm going to zoom in before you go too far and I'm going to focus because you give me a second to get on that. All right. There we go. Now we can see the stipples.
And you'll see that can give us some very nice effect. Number 12 round, probably what I'm going to use, that or the deer foot. But I also have a D brush. I'm going to just show you the number 4 D brush, Artney. That one, all the hogs, you get wet, you dry off. And this one actually might do a better job. Yeah, it is. Kind of effect that you get from this brush. This brush, if you have one, has two sides. It has the rounded side and it has the edge. So you can do tight work here. See, even though it's a hog, you can still get that crisp line, even as this brush gets floofy. Right, so you can work something like this also. Okay. Then I'm going to be going here like this. Right, so that's how that's going to look. This is a number 4 round. It's hog bristle round. So see how I'm getting similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar effects. And the reason they're similar effects is not that these brushes are all exactly the same brush. It's a combo of things in that I understand the nature of all these brushes. I'm going to do this one on the edge. If I use my fan brush, I would just need to be more vertical. Jen can show kind of maybe overhead. So how I hold my handle makes a big difference to the stipple. If I go like this, the stipple starts to curve. If I go like that, the stipple starts to curve. Great when I want it, not fantastic when I don't. So if I want to have more control over its placement, I have to be more vertical. Does that help?
Yes.
Hopefully I have done at least one brush in your brush bucket.
Hopefully, yeah, we got that for there were a few people, LA and Ramona, were looking at what brushes. Wait, show us more. I think that got it.
All right, I am very glad.
And I'm happy to show you guys so you can keep
yeah,
saying
so you know. And so these are all from, now you understand why I picked this Raphael Artini line. It gives me some really nice stuff. And you can understand why I picked this Princeton Select. It gives me really nice stuff. The thing to know about the Select is that new brush, old brush. Notice they look a little different.
Hold on, let me get down here.
New brush, old brush looks a little different. The reason is that this is natural, and so as you paint with it, it wears down over time. Same with the hog bristles. They will wear down over time. They change shape. They start to shape to your brush stroke. So mine will all look a little different. It's been throwing people a little bit lately, so that's what's going on, is that one of them is old and I've had it a long time, and one of them is new. I think I'm going to debrush.
Tanya says, I bought that paper for watercolor practice, and it holds up very well. I know
Yes.
It's perfect for acrylic practice, too.
It's a real multimedia. If you're a multimedia person, I really like the Fabriano. I like the 120 a little better than the 110 because I'm a paperweight snob, but that's just me. All right. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to think about where will I have my sun.
Should we separate that that technique into a separate step?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. New step for that.
Nathan's like, to moderator Titanium, how to get excited to paint again, even knowing that I will continue with the same mistakes. Maybe that's why it's wonderful. Maybe it's because it doesn't, I kind of love that it's never just nothing. It's always me and the challenge in front of me. And even when I will make mistakes, even experienced art, we all have it. But it's wonderful to be in that struggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you never know. It might be this painting. I'm going to take a chalk tool. This is a credit color white chalk pencil. And I'm going to just try to, and it's not going to let me chalk in a line. I'm going to have to paint it in. It's just, it's there. It's just not going to show for you. I can try this to billow.
I can see a little bit. If you let me just adjust my camera.
It's just.
Yeah, it is real light.
Yeah, it's just too light. So what I'm going to do when that happens, I'm going to get a little bit of my glazing medium in my white because my sun is white. And I just need to know where it is for the trees. I'm going to come over here. This is in the upper left quadrant of the painting. And a couple inches over from the center line, I'm going to just make a white round circle. Now, for me to have a better circle, I find I have to go over my line again a few times. It's almost like I'm like twirling. I'm like, you remember twirling when you're a kid? And I'm going to twirl till I get there. It's really what it is. It's like, and one of these circles is going to work, is sort of
you'll get there.
The strategy that I will tend to have.
And then you make small adjustments to make it more round in the areas that were less round as you go around.
Yeah, it's just a little thing. And
Yeah.
I'll paint it with a little bit of white. It's not going to be its full white right now. I just need to know where this little sucker is. Okay.
I'm gonna switch you to overhead here for a minute, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna warm our coffee up.
I love that plan. Switch me to overhead and then warm my coffee up. And then we're going to talk a little bit about color mixes. So we have these colors to the side. Let's try something a little different. I know I should be speeding along, but let's try something different. Get a scratch paper from your printer. If you don't have multimedia paper, it will work for this, and I don't want you to miss out on it. Let's practice trying to find our color. So we've got a dark bluish gray that is the trees, and that is going to be my ultramarine blue and my burnt sienna. Now, if I have more burnt sienna in it, it looks like this, and if I have more blue in it, it looks like this. So we're going to make a little mark for ourselves so we know what we did here. All right, so those are our tree colors. It is burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Burnt sienna, ultramarine blue. If I add more ultramarine blue into it, like a lot more, I get kind of a grade blue. If I add just a ton more brown. This is the range of mixes that I'll do. I will be alternating more blue to more brown. When I'm going into my oranges, I'm going to go into more brown. So when I'm about to make this other transition, which is going to be a little cad yellow, a little cad red, and burnt sienna. That's the mix that's going to make those colors. So I'm going to be doing my shadows in these. And man, I'm going to be working this color mix. I actually won't have to teach you too many color mixes for this particular one because we're going to be working them so heavily. So let's say we take a little bit of red and orange, right? Red and yellow, and we make a very reddish orange, and we get our burnt sienna into it, right? And we mix quite a lot of burnt sienna into that mix, right? And that's the range that we're going to get. But as I get, oh, I'll take it in just 2 seconds. As I get more yellow into this, into that mix, it goes more here, more here, more here. If I get more red and brown, so that's the ranges for that background of trees. Those are the little values. I'm so sorry, babe. So I hope that helps. And we can call that a step, mixing the colors for the trees. I don't know if these new things are helping you guys, but I feel like every time I can come back and get back into the basics, especially in the 2-in-1 Hoots, it's helpful. So hopefully that was good and you guys are ready to go and mix these colors now because we got it. But if you have your sheet, your little thing there, if ever you want to go back to a color, I know them all by now, right? But if ever you want to go back to a color and you have that book, you can go back to your book and go, how did I get that orange? And it's there. And you'll remember this moment. And then it'll be time stamped. So you'll be like, wait, where did she show mixing that orange? And then you'll come here and then you'll know. And you'll never be frustrated again. It's not a terror moment, but it's what we've got. That was funny to me and I don't know why. All right, so I'm going to come through my wonderful background, and I think I'm going to start in my kind of here around my sun because that will be this sort of little kind of run of trees will be orange, and the reason is because light's the brightest there. I'm going to come here and mix a little bit of my cad red and yellow together, and I'm making a very yellow orange. And take a smidge of my burnt sienna into it. I'm using my D brush. And when you see me squishing, is I'm just trying to squish out the paint so I can load the tip. And I'm going to stipple up and down and make a cone pointed little tree. Now I'll come back and put in my sun just a little bit more, but I really need to know where that is to even do that, right? Down, and then maybe another little kind of cone pointed little tree. Little yellow, little red, little burnt sienna. And remember, these are transparent colors, so you may have to work for some of these a little bit. And that's okay. What I'm doing is I'm making sure I don't have bright pops of red in there or something. I am stippling up and down. Let's just real quick talk about that shape. See the shape? And then you come down, and then you might come back up. Shape again. See how we're getting these irregular shapes? That's all we're doing. You've got this. Breathe deep. Boy, I said that forcefully. I'm going to just stipple this down. It's going to be fine. Now, as I come down, I can switch to a more resolved brushstroke where I'm kind of smoothing the paint, creating a solid field. But up here, I want it to really feel like I'm seeing the edges of little leaves and such. And I can take this
What did I miss?
20 points for whoever can catch my mistake.
Painted trees?
Everything's too high.
Oh.
I based it off of my white center line and not my horizon line, and therefore I scaled everything.
So you got a kind of tall forest. You have a lot of forest is what you have.
I do.
You gonna shorten it, or are you gonna keep tall forest?
Vote. I can take this out and put it back in 2 seconds. Do you want to see me correct what I would consider to be a total mistake?
And just go. Boop,
and we'll
boop,
call
boop.
the how to fix the mistake error.
So we'll call this. This will be step 6 to correct the step error.
First of all, I'm gonna dry it because
actually
I want to paint it away.
Okay. So we're gonna leave this all here, so that in the same step, so they can put a note in the book that says, "Hey, by the way, if you want to skip to this step and not have to paint all the mistake and then unpaint it, then do this." Oh yeah, everyone's like, "Nah, correct, yes. What happened? Wait, no, oh, yeah, okay." So, yeah, they definitely. I think there's a chorus of correct it, keep it, fix it, correct it, show us how to fix it, show us. We just correct it. Yes.
I would correct it because it's spatially so different than what I want.
I think that there's an overwhelming wanting to learn.
So I've dried it.
Okay.
Now, luckily, these are in color harmonies. I don't have to fight anything big. I need to actually come down and just take out the bushes and take out the sun, dry it, and reset the sun. And it's all an inch off. And this will happen. I have a neurospicy brain. And sometimes that creates some spatial challenges. It's been my whole life. So I'm great if you need to know how to do a workaround. I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow. Again, I'm using my number 30 just to do this quickly, because I'm going to just do the whole thing super quickly. Little yellow and some red. I'm even working it on the canvas. I don't really mind. What I want to do is not have it blow my sky.
Right.
Right. I liked my sky, and I definitely want to still have it. And I've got a little bit of a shadow there. So I'm going to have to come in, and I'm going to grab a little more paint. And I grabbed a little white. See, I grabbed a little white?
I did.
Not a lot.
Just a touch.
Yeah. This is actually why titanium white became so popular, is because it's such a robust white. And it used to be back in the old-timey days that you could not get a good white. And so zinc was like the big white. But as you know, there was some issue with zinc for oil artists for a little fix now. But there was some issue with zinc for a while with oil artists. Okay, I'm going to dry that and see where we're at. And I should be able to reset the whole thing.
Thoroughly dry it. Okay, thoroughly dry. So, some of you just got an ad, and I'm sorry. Sorry for the ad. We're going to talk about nonsense for this while we're doing this. We're going to keep drying. So our friends, oh, thank you, Ramona. And I mean, gosh, thank everybody. I think that I saw another one come up here. Ramona, thank you so much. And for all the super chats and bonuses. Heather C, thank you so much. And if I missed any more, I just want to say thank you. We really appreciate you guys. Your support means everything.
Wait. One more coat and dry it again.
Okay, so I just want to make sure they all know. So if you're coming back from the break, we haven't done anything yet. You're just going to give it a coat of what she's saying now. You haven't missed anything.
One more coat, because yellow is so transparent.
Okay.
That's why it was worth showing the repair, because yellow is so transparent. Even on harmonious colors, even on all of that, yellow is so transparent that it will take you 2 coats with good paint and a little bit of white to get it out. But you can get it there. You'll just have a better sky, actually. I'm good now.
Won't take but just a moment to dry. And then this one I think will go a little faster. I'm not going to hit the commercial-y thing because we just did it. So it should give us minutes. I think it's 18. But that number just comes because that's what I think I saw on the dashboard. I could be totally wrong about that. But this is an evolving thing. And besides, they probably will change those numbers and may not even give us the ability to adjust those in the future. But we're doing what we can.
We do what we can do.
Now, we're step?
Or is this gonna
be? No, we're back to zero.
We're gonna go back to redoing it.
All right, so now we should be a new step here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this round brush. I'm using bigger brushes this time because I'm going faster, guys. Whenever I have to speed up, I size up my brushes. Number 10, Textur. Now, I actually want my son to be about a half inch.
Don't do the same thing there. You want to do off? You want to do it off of the.
Well, see, I needed it to do it lower off of this line, so I had it up here, and I need to move it down.
Just want to make sure you're not double doing the same thing.
And the reason John's making sure is because I have.
It's just like
in the past,
where she'll take a mistake out and then paint it back in
right
exactly
back
as it was.
In. Like my kids were totally laughing. We were playing Connect 4, and man, I can't believe the stuff I couldn't see. Sometimes I can't. It depending on how I'm doing, I can't always see certain things. Patterns, certain relationships, and it's okay. I just work up strategies to go around, but I'm actually playing with the idea of going in for a complete workup and maybe revisiting how to deal with it. This time I'm painting my son much more white, just to really see where it is spatially. And since I want it to dry, but I don't want us to have to do another drying session, I'm going to actually start further out on my trees, and I'll go bigger so we can go faster. So I'm sizing up to a number 12 Raphael D brush, and that's so I can go faster. Smaller is because I want more control. I'm going to take a little bit of my brown and my blue together, making the deep, dark shadow color of the trees. Taking it down to this line right here, which is our water line. Oh, so wild how that was difficult. Don't forget to go around the side or it won't look quite how you want it to. I'm going to turn my brush, and I'm just creating those little ups and downs. See how they are?
Yep.
And get a little more brown in there. And if you'll remember, I can be pretty tight on a line with these D brushes. I'm just letting my sun dry. Sometimes it's not. I'm doing a little more brown into that mix that we learned earlier, right? If I need to set, like say I smudged a horizon line to take water, and I come back and I brush that away. I don't have to worry about that. See, I just took a damp brush, and because the paint underneath was dry and the paint on top was wet, I can remove paint very easily. Again, just doing a deep brush. You can do the 4D brush. I was using this deep brush. I'm just moving quickly so we catch up on time for what we
I think it's okay.
missed a little bit. Now, I might add just a smidge. Gosh, just a smidge of white to this mix to give it just a little more of a cloudy effect. I'm going to do the bulk of the work with the big brush, and then I'll switch back to my smaller little controlled brush. And see, I'm working trying to be up and down, even in the shadow of the trees that I know I'm going to come add highlights to, the brown highlights.
Yeah.
And this particular class teaches a very important landscape lesson that you, especially if you're beginners, should take with you, is that light will impact the objects closest to it and warm those colors. So even though this is this kind of blued brown, closer to that sunlight, it's going to go into more and more oranges. And when you're out in the world, if you can like even take that time to pay a little bit of attention to how that works, you're not going to be sorry.
Yeah.
Now you can see I'm going up and down. I've got this. You've got this. We've survived mistakes already. We're just amazing, right? We're just amazing. I just want you to know if you're sitting here right now, you're fabulous. You're terrific and you're fabulous. And anyone who doesn't know that is just silly. And we don't care what they think.
I like the trees.
I'm gonna add a little more brown into this little bit here, just because it'll help its blend. Now, I'll go ahead and get back into my controlled brush now. My sun is dry enough to work. And you for the next part, you don't want your sun to be wet when you're putting leaves over it. So that's why it matters. Because the paint underneath will pick up into it. Back into my orange, my friends.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the cad red and cad yellow and a little bit of burnt sienna. By the way, there's raw sienna. If any of you were ever curious. So we got those mixes again. Remember, we practiced those mixes. Up over here, I can start to come up on these trees and add this like reddish brown. See that right there? If I need some blue into it, I can come back and kind of see how it can blend through. I got that brown blue and I'm kind of blending those up into each other. So I'm blending by mixing on the canvas. A little bit of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna again.
Can't see that.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's looking really good.
Oh, I thought you said I can't see that.
No,
and I was like, how? I
can
how?
see it.
Right. Sometimes
cool.
it's nice to get a little white into it just so that there's maybe a little bit of mist. See how we're misting a little bit? Again, that's a little burnt sienna and your yellow. I can also, if I need to, get a little more red into it to darken it. So you can get more burnt sienna or more red to darken it. I might bring that just a little more down into that shadow, and you see that kind of makes those bushes feel like they've got light coming through them. That's what we're trying to do, is just give the bushes a feeling of light. Just light them up. Now I can go into a little bit of the brown and blue, but it's a lot more brown, right? And kind of create a little sense of, hey, that's a little darker there. Sometimes I have to rinse out to get it to work again. So I'm going to take a little bit of my burnt sienna, yellow, cad red, if it's too red, you just get back into the yellow. Get a little more yellow as I'm going. So the reason I showed you those different values of mixes is so you understand sometimes even when I'm mixing within two colors, I'm mixing a lot of colors within two colors. So things that feel like they maybe wouldn't be that complicated are actually pretty darn complicated. I'm going to bring some more sort of shadow up into this little line. I just got to get my color pushed down here. And you'll rinse it out. Back into the brown and blue. Now you can see I can come back and add a little bit more shadow in. And this lets these feel like they have just a little bit of light around them, whereas through here is much more lit. And you can make sure that down low on the trees is painted fairly solidly, and then it gets lighter as it gets up into the light, if that makes sense. I can get glazing medium if I want to just sort of fill in too, but not have to put out a ton of paint. Right? So I'm just trying to like improve the depth or value of it. Make sure you get those sides because otherwise it'll look just wild on you, and then there you'll be. You've got this, right? Distant trees in bright sunlight. Who knew that was going to be that much fun and that chill to do, right? Okay, let's call that a step and dry everything. John can run one of our little, hopefully, tactical ads.
We'll put it.
I'll try to sip a coffee before it has to be reheated again, which I'm sure it does because I went that long. And we've tried warmers. All it does is cook my coffee.
All right, so we're going to let her boop, and then we'll go boop for you people who are away in the commercial now. Yep, I know. I gotta warms her coffee. So I'll go do that in just a second. Thank you guys for coming to join us. Thank you thank you for being part of our community. We love all of you guys being here. We love seeing you. Do come back and check out the channel during the week when we're not live, because we have a lot of stuff that's coming and dropping. So we have a lot of shorts that are coming up, a lot of new segments that aren't going to be live that we're just going to be dropping. And we're going to try some new stuff out. So please come and give us a little a chance to check it out, see if you like it.
Are we doing the Mikador unboxing on Facebook after this?
Yeah, sure.
If you're up for it.
I'm up for a live. We'll see. Yeah.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
So you should tell them about that too.
Next break.
Next break, you can tell them about that.
I'm going to give it a step.
Right, I'm going to use wherever I put it again. Okay, I think I used this angle brush earlier, so I'm going to get back into that again. I'm going to use the 1/2" angle brush by Princeton Catalyst. And we're going to start doing this water. Water is going to be pretty chill on us. We're going to get a little glazy medium on our brush just so we have nice flow. And I'm going to put a little white into it. And let's get a little yellow ochre and just work some of our sky color into it and our tree color. And then right here towards this little area, I'm going to begin edging in my water line on the edge of my angle brush. I'm just looking for a crisp line, as crisp as I can make it, as level as I can make it, whatever I can do. This is layer 1. I find it's easiest to go along the edge. You could also use a bright, or you can tape and burnish down that artist tape along the line so that you have a nice smooth application and a good horizon. And come into a little more of the color from the sides. So it's very important to me, right? I'm a little more white, maybe a smidge more yellow as I go. Right through here. See how we're doing? Blending wet into wet. And then with glazing medium and lots and lots and lots and lots of white, smidge of also horizontal. And you will paint over the lines that you have there, but you should still be able to see them. My big thing that I'm trying to do is just make sure that I keep my lines level. Level, 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 level. All right. I'm going to come in and I can come back with a little bit of my shadow color and clean up my horizon that way too. Thank you so much. And I will take this moment to come in and make sure that I've got an initial good depth before I do my cool glazing medium misted effect that you guys are going to love. You guys are going to be misting every forest ever. But we got, oh, so nice. Isn't that nice? You got to love it. I love coffee. Now I'm going to get into my nice burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Make sure there's a little glazing medium so it blends nicely. And I'm going to come here and just very softly start to work in what is the shadows coming in on the water. We'll do a glaze one too, but it's nice to do a wet into wet one. Come along here with just a little of that dusting. Not too terrible. We're just starting to get that nice little horizon in. I might want to work just a little more white and yellow. Just kind of blending that back, making sure that's good. You can see I'm just really focusing on keeping that line level and drinking coffee. I'm really focused on keeping that line level and drinking coffee. Now, I'm going to I'm going to dry it.
Thoroughly dry.
And thoroughly dry.
All right. There we go. And we'll thoroughly dry the surface, and then this is the part where you gotta get dry. And the reason is because of the layers with acrylic. Acrylics layer, and you don't really want them to blend. Well, sometimes you do, and then you use different tools to do that. But general techniques in acrylic are built on layering because acrylic dries so fast. And that's one of the things to know about it. So we try to thoroughly dry between those steps. That way, you don't. What you doing there?
I don't know. Getting in the way.
Okay. What was that about?
Just kidding. I am into that number 12 Princeton Select Brown blender I told you about. We got a new step we want to do. I'm going to take a little of my blue. I might get a little wet first. I'm going to take a little of my blue over to my tree mixture. So I'm making it a little bluer. Not particularly thick. And then I'm going to get some white on here. Taking my brush, wiping off extra pigment, and then I get into my glaze. Just like to do kind of like a little light curled stroke. It's almost like a seed, but they go opposite directions. I'm just giving it a little bit of mist to think about what it's done. Now the glazing medium will dry clear and matte, and so all that'll be left is the hint of pigment. A lot of you guys ask me, what do I do if I don't have zinc white? This. Sometimes I'll come in and kind of even give it a little finger nudge. A nudge. If you have any sensitivities you have to worry about all health concerns, you just wear rubber gloves. Probably smart. More glaze than that. So I'm not bringing the mist all the way through them. I am taking the mist part of the way. So it's there. And I do want a little bit of it on the water, but I need to darken the water and then mist the water. So it's sort of an interesting little order of operations I've got to do. So I've got nice background, far away, misted autumn trees. Pretty much nailed that. Now I'm going to come here and I want some little watercolors. I'm going to take some of my burnt sienna and a lot more of my blue and glaze. Now it will be longer here and then come back in kind of a reducing angle that way. And I'm just taking the number 12 and lightly brushing out this shadow. My pressure's super light. It's like I'm even, you could almost think of it as like pastels. That's how light that pressure is. That's just a very light pressure. I'm going to come over here. Darken this as well, but with glazing medium. And then I'm going to get a little brown on my brush and still more glazing medium. Brushing back a little brown. Aren't we awesome? We're so fancy. I can take a little bit of my sky color back and my watercolor, and if I need to, I can brush back into that and improve that angling. If you don't have glazing medium, you have to use water, and you have to hope that that is enough. Sometimes the binding will hold, and sometimes it will not. A little more yellow into that. Very light, more white. You see how I'm just adding more white, but I do keep it horizontal. And that's the big thing. Now I'll lean back so you can see it, but hopefully you can see that I'm going to keep it horizontal through here. There's a little hint of yellow to it, but it is quite light. And we'll glaze in those shadows and stuff later, but right now we just need to make sure that this whole line works. And if we can get this effect to work, then we are literally golden in our golden painting, painting our golden hour. You're so golden. And we call that awesome. When we're painting, it's so awesome. Because when we're painting, it's so awesome. Another cool thing that you can do, and this is wild, I can take a little bit of my yellow, smidge of my white into it, but mostly my yellow. And my glazing medium. And you can also create a radial glow. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll even pull it down into what's over, right? Kind of glaze over that. See how that does? Sorry, I'm just getting to playing. So sometimes you guys are doing so good, and then I'm like, let's try something a little.
No, I think this is awesome.
Very light with it as I go further out. I wouldn't be too heavy with it. I'm barely touching the brush. It's just putting down a little bit. It's just so that there's a sort of created gradation from that brush effect. But look at how, doesn't that now look like it's all just sitting in light even a little more? Love it. Put a little color in the sky, then you put it in the water, because water is a mirror, and we're gonna dry it because that step is done and we're amazing. And the rest of this will go so fast.
So fast.
So fast.
All right. All right, let's see here. And we're going to talk about the deer. I don't know. Like she says so fast, but we have so much to do. I don't know. There's a tree and then like an island and then a whole big deer butt that we have to paint in. And the rest of the deer too, not just his butt. But that is the part that is facing us the most, I would say. This is, it's kind of a painting. It'd be funny to give somebody because you're like, on one level, oh, it's a beautiful deer that's mooning you. I guess. I find that humorous. Because you can hang out on the wall and say, look, it's a picture of the sun and the moon. Yeah, I'm like, I've got certainly the comedy stylings of a 14-year-old for sure. And that's what you missed if you were on a commercial break. I think I have a better name for this painting. The Deer Moon.
It's the sun.
I know, but the deer's mooning you.
Only if his tail's up.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
We're so funny. We're like, oh yeah, we've got to be adults again. Let's adult
There's your
again. That'll be wonderful. Adulting up again. All right, I'm going to grab my angle brush, and it's my little 1/2 inch angle, and I'm going to come in and start to put in some of my landscape and other detailing and world that has to come in. Now, we know some of these mixes, which is the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna. And in this, I can even still get even a little black in there. I want this to be quite deep. And I'm going to have to put this out sort of thoughtfully. So I'm going to come on the toe of my brush. And I'm going to make sure that... Huh? Oh, okay. Just... kind of coming in, making a little edge like that. See how he came out, and I may even... I actually might have a demo that might help you with these lines, but let's get these in first, and then we'll worry about it. I'm going to come out from the side here. So this little land stuff, it really just sits out there, doesn't it? Being all landy and dark. And while I'm here, I'm going to put a little bit of glazing medium in my blue-gray color.
With They Might Be Giants. I don't think it's so remarkable that we need to be screaming land every time we see it when we're on a boat.
Okay. You can do that anytime you want. So I've mixed up my land color, a little bit of white and glazing medium, and while I'm here, I'm going to just bring little downward strokes. Let me show you what I'm kind of doing here. So for reflections, we're just coming down kind of vertically, and then sometimes we go across. But what I want to avoid is what I just did there, which is angles at the lines. To the degree that I can keep things straight, it works better. So I'm just putting a few little reflections down here.
And thank you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. How are you doing today? I hope you are wonderful. I hope everything is good in your world. You can see I just sort of come along there, and it's just a very light little moment. You can add some heavier moments into it, but you got to be careful. But I think we've done quite well there. That's a hard little bit to get. And then when you put the land above it and this land here, those reflections will become like, you're like, man, that worked better than expected. I'm going to come out here with some brown and a little black. Yep, changing for the upper part of the land. Shedding on here. And I'm going to do kind of hatch marks almost as I come across. Can have some of the anything in it. It's all fine with me. And I will raise up some dirt. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm thinking of. I think about how all this land works. But this is just the basis of painting it. Take a little bit of this. Again, just notice I'm making rough marks. These aren't precious or they're the corner of the brush. They're rotating it around. They are trying to show a uneven and natural world. I have stuff that will come up higher, but just even starting this edge makes a big difference. A little bit of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. I am not one of those artists that believes that you don't use black in landscape painting or painting in general. I just believe you use it at the right times and then it's great. I don't have an always never rule except for always never eat paint.
Huh.
My next always never rule is always never use a torch on your acrylic painting or heat it in some way. Really, really hot. It's heat guns and torches for resin alike or creme brulee. I think I've seen everything. Don't do that. Just bringing a little more brown. As I come up towards the top of the land, I can lighten this up a little bit. I've got several layers. Right now what I am doing is building up a world. And by doing these brush strokes, we create space where that world can exist. They're rough. They're foundational. An architecture. Not our final thought on the matter. I'm going to put out a little more burnt sienna. Burnt sienna.
Burnt?
I gotta say that, don't I? Burnt sienna. It's so burnt. It's so burnt, it doesn't know what it wants to do no more. It's just burnt and tired of it. Sorry, just something came over me. Every once in a while, your drawl just hits you.
Huh.
You're just going along, being fine. I'm going to get a little more orange into this brown. Still brown. So I'm blending down and up. And notice that I'm just making sure that even the edge of land that's here is not a hard, crisp edge. It's not a mowed edge. We're not at a golf course. And I don't think they'd let this deer on a golf course. And this would be a terrible golf course because look at this hot mess. How would you play golf here? But I do like to bring things up and down. There we go. That's a step. We're going to dry everything. Already you've got a nice little landscape. Honestly, you got an abstract landscape here. Enjoy if you just don't feel like doing deer. You're good. You're okay. But we do got to dry it if we want to go on.
Okay. So, this is, yeah, that little landscape did pop right in there. That just came right in together. Nice. Very, very fall landscapey. Oh, wow. Thank you, Amber. You know what, guys? We really, really appreciate you. It's so nice. We really appreciate all of the support you guys give us. It keeps the lights on here. And, right now we're rebooting our e-commerce store. So, and it's a place where we're going to be really trying to give you guys a really big selection of products with a nominal markup. And direct from from the actual suppliers. So we're all this stuff we're buying from the suppliers, we're supporting them, we're doing as they've asked, building our markups in these reasonable ways so that we can compete fairly on the stage and be good little shop owners.
Well, John and I just don't believe in business as usual.
No.
We do not believe that when you can, you take advantage of people.
Right.
Just because you can.
Our prices are set based on this is the percentage we should be making on average with the stuff.
And the businesses we're working with are privately owned, often by employees.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
so it's important to treat them well. And so we don't want to do the stuff that rips them off.
No.
And I'm not ever telling you guys to not go get an art deal somewhere. I'm just saying that, I want to have a long relationship with these businesses. So I'm just trying to be respectful of what they need so they can stay in business. Because, Lord knows you guys have seen all the businesses that have gone out of business this last year. Have you noticed the 15 restaurant chains and so many other national chains? And those are jobs that are, they're keystone jobs for communities. It's a huge deal. So we just definitely want to be part of the solution, treating the right kind of businesses right. That's us. That's weird. That's what we're about.
Yep.
Okay.
Next step.
I'm going to use my number 10 Raphael round. You could use the sepia round if you bought one. I probably will get into it. I just want to spend less time painting trunks. So I'm taking my number 10 Textura round, and I'm just taking black paint. And I'm going to come from, right here to the side over to here. And I'm giving myself about half inch at least. This first tree is the skinny tree. It's just a black trunk. I want it to be thicker at the bottom than it is at the top. Now, if anything happened on it I don't like, and it's bumpy in a way I don't like, and I know I'm putting a bunch of branches and everything over here on it, but I'm just telling you so you know, if I rinse my brush, I can trim up. See? So don't feel like, oh no, I was doing so perfect, and then I added a tree, and my whole world ended, because it's not at all what happened. All right, I'm going to come here, and this one's going to be sort of close to this one. Just painting a thicker, fatter, happier little tree. This is mama tree, this is baby tree. Sister baby, younger sister. Daughter tree. We just want to, you know, on the front of the canvas, it just needs to look like the trees might, you know, exist elsewhere off surface. It's an important part of your tree making skill sets. Take care of that. I'm going to go around and find a, all right, I'm going to use a number 1 liner. And I'm going to drag out little interesting branch lines. These are like those weird little bits of broken wood is messy, man. The branches break, and you gotta actually kind of show that when you're painting trees in the wild. So I do like to get that in there. I'll leave those alone for a second. And I do want to show you something. So let's call this a step, and I'm going to show you a couple things. All right.
Put a step here for them.
Yeah. So the first thing is I'm going to come through with, I think, I can use my angle brush. I could probably use my angle brush again, but here's what I'm doing. I'm going to be taking my orange and my yellow ochre mixed into my burnt sienna. And I'm going to be making little marks like this. All right. And we're also going to be adding little twig lines that go up. See how I'm making this very naturalistic space? When I come down, I can go deeper and deeper and sometimes more red. So we're going to be running the same kind of mixes that we had here, right? That we had through here. And then through the landscape. And then there's a couple places where we're going to come in, and if we add white, we get some more beiges, if you can see. So that's when we add a little white to our mixes. So we'll be doing some of that and some of this in the next step. You guys ready? I think you are. Got the color mixes. Sometimes it'll be more yellow. Sometimes it'll be more reddish brown. But that's basically what we're doing. And we're going to continue on with this. And if we don't like it, we will add our little detail brush that I just branched on. How's that sound?
Good. Now we're going to make this another step.
This is another step. I'm going to add a lot more yellow into my orange, which was my cad red, my cad yellow, and a little yellow ochre. And I'm going to come over here to my burnt sienna. I'm going to flick up little, I have to get some glazing medium on it. Well, sometimes the glazing medium helps me get marks when the paint doesn't want to play. Notice that I'm trying to do irregular shapes. Now I might come in and put some little, see how that creates that sense that there's little leaves there? And if I go into my red and yellow, more yellow. So where I might have more sunlight on it, that's where I might have more oranges, more yellows. It's lighter. There's light coming in. More yellow. Go into the brown a little more. It's more the burnt sienna. And it's nice because it really does just sort of bring a little more depth. More red and yellow. And I brought my burnt sienna on there, so it's definitely there. It's just got more orange in it. See how we're pulling that in? Little lines, little moments. Now back here, a little bit of my burnt sienna and my ultramarine blue, and I didn't rinse my brush out, so that creates a very kind of dark and rich color, but it's still part of all the colors that are here. So something that would normally make colors muddy actually can come in and be your friend, creating little moments that are beneficial to your painting goals. Now I've got my burnt sienna and my ultramarine blue and a little titanium white. And come here and kind of paint some highlights on some of that ground, right? Just using the edge of my little brush. Looks pretty good. Rinse out. I'm going to come back with burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. I've rinsed out. I'm changing colors. And now I'm adding shadows. And I can use this even a little bit to go up into my grass, different things. I can come through and be like, oh, I think my land needs to be smooth and gonna put a few little shadows under this foliage here, right? We want shadows under the foliage. You guys are so much more capable of painting than you know. Once you get those basic skills out, you guys always become epic. But sometimes it's just having a chance, someone giving you a chance to just know the stuff. Know that you're gonna have to have a shadow there, or we're gonna have to have some highlights. A little bit of brighter highlight there, maybe. Now, an interesting thing, and I will grab my, I love this set, and I don't mind if we just have the sets here. I like the 2 sets. I'm fine with that. There's 2 brushes. I can never have enough rounds. It's the number 6 Raphael Sepia. It comes in a 2-pack. It's got a slightly smaller brush that comes with it, which is also fabulous. Now I'm going to take just black and my sepia. Just make sure that the edges of that have a nice little that gives them a little bit of a shadow. That's good for them. Well, I just like a little bit of light there, I think. It's looking good. All right, step. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my cad red and my cad yellow. Just a smidge of Persian. I mean, it's so barely. I can always go more into the yellow if I need another value change. And the yellow ochre. I'm making sure that this bright spot feels like there's this light coming in. I haven't even gotten the deer involved and I'm having this much fun. I'm just trying to create these little irregular edges. They're just very playful. I like it a lot. Super fun to do. I want a little more brown in there. No problem. There it goes. How do I have this little grass flick down? I literally practice this brush stroke with this brush. On occasion, if I'm having any trouble with a particular technique or brush stroke or brush or tool, and have always done this, then that just means me and that tool have to spend some time together doing stuff. Maybe another little highlight right there. Just a few here. We'll have to come in. We're going to have some shadows, but they're actually lighter in value, and that's an interesting thing. When something isn't in the bright light, right? It's not there, but it's a little bit more burnt sienna and red. Cad red and burnt sienna is always an interesting thing to play with because it's super vibrant. So I use my glazing medium there in place of water. You can absolutely use it in place of water. And sometimes it works better because it doesn't make your paint gloopy. Nobody wants no gloopy paint. And yeah, I'm being a little playful here. I know it. Add some of those more interesting browns and reds around. Different places. You saw the brush stroke. We practiced the color mixes. You've got this. You can do this. You need to pause me? Pause me. You need to rewind me? Rewind me. Love playing with the color. I'm gonna rinse out a little bit. And now let's come back with maybe one of our darker colors, which is our burnt sienna and our ultramarine blue. And some of this value should be quite dark. Coming off that tree, dark. Coming off that tree, dark. Now I'm going to be putting my deer here, so I may have to do some adjustments, but I know for a fact some of that will just have to be dark. Like there's just no way, because he's going to block light. He's a solid object. He exists in the world, my imaginary world. And for his trouble, he gets a shadow. But you can see even with the dark color, I don't stop using the technique. I just think about where that technique is getting placed just generally. Now I'll come back over into here. Little brown. Little blue. It's kind of almost a gray. Little more white to it. Now finding the white that you want, because you don't want it to be too light. There we go. And that's almost too light, so I might have to even go even more. Find that one. It needs to look like what you're seeing is just a subtlety of the shadow, where there's lights in the shadows, just a little bit. Does that make sense? Because in the world, when you're looking at things, they're never just a solid black stripe. Very rarely. It's strange conditions give you that. It's not your everyday conditions that give you like a little bit of a stripe. I might come here and just add a little bit at that base. You never know. Now I have my brown I mixed from earlier, which was my orange with my brown, and if I get some white into that, get some very nice, I'm adding white into this one over here too, kind of dried grass beigey colors. Look at us go. And even as I'm blending it in, I can come up into my orange and add different little colors to sort of work into it. See how that creates areas, but it doesn't. You don't want to overwhelm the mind. It's pretty fun. Let's dry everything there. Dry, dry, dry.
Dry, dry, dry.
Dry, dry, dry. Dry your canvas. Dry your canvas.
So, wow. Thank you guys for all being here with us. It's so good to see all of these happy faces here. You know, MKGW, you're not too late. You're just here in time, because you know what? There's always time to rewind, and then you can see it from the beginning. And that's okay too, because that happens. Yeah, sometimes you come in late. And I'm sorry for all those who are showing up here and had the little commercial break. We try to do the commercial breaks when we do this, the drawing, so you don't miss anything important. And I hope that helps. Now for another step. Yeah?
Yeah. One of the things I've been noticing lately is the penchant of us creators to label things for search results instead of actual video content. So there's a cheeky part of me that, because it's how to draw and paint is like super trendy right now, I'm going to show you how to draw and paint the deer. And I actually mean that. So normally only the patrons would get that, but everybody gets it today. And also, the reason I'm doing this, and you should do this with me, and if you have this pad or a scratch piece of paper or pencil and you want to learn how to draw, it's a great time to do it. If you don't want to learn how to draw, it's a good time to take your traceable back out in your transfer method and put your deer right here. If you're using a traceable, go ahead and put your deer right back here. I'm going to show you real quick. So when I'm looking at how to draw something and I'm trying to make it interesting, even if it's a little static, I do think about gesture. And John's going to, maybe I'll do this in pen so you can see it. It doesn't matter to me.
You can still see, I think.
I'm not sure they can see the pencil.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, I think I can do it in pen. It's a little bit more challenging, but I'm going to try to do it in pen. Okay. Because I don't think you're going to see all of the thoughtful strokes. So first, I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of think about the scale. What does his... I need to hide that. Oh no, it's going to do that thing to me again. No, don't do it. Don't do it, thank you. So he's got a little head here. And the thing to think about their heads is we've got eyes here. And fairly close to eyes, we have nose. I have to think about those relationships. The problem is seeing the paper and seeing what I'm going to reference. It's just they're not in the right places. Oh, man. I'm going to draw in a little muzzle. So, can we do that with pencil lines, though, John?
I think so.
Because I prefer to do it in pencil.
Here you go. I can make some adjustments.
So the reason I like to do pencil is, the reason I'm asking John to trouble us all with pencil is that by doing pencil, I can sketch in loose lines, structural lines, and then with pen come back in and create ink lines. And from that, I can create my own original traceable because I can just put transfer paper over it, draw over it, and go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to kind of think about his head. Right, he's got a bit of a neck coming out. So I'm going to sketch this, and John's going to find it, okay? So I just try to think of what his shapes are at first. And you don't really do this on a canvas. And when you see it happening, let's bring in a little circle for his little haunches here. Bring it over. Now, his hind end, his little tail, right, is towards this little back here. So I don't want his haunches and his butt to have a huge distance because, as John pointed out, he's sort of mooning us. So how much should I give his rump? I'm not trying to draw a horse, but I need enough for it to be believable that the animal I'm creating, right, has... I'm going to come at the top of his head and draw this line. This is going to help me draw his ears. You'd think antlers, but actually ears, believe it or not. And then he has...
Yeah, that's about as...
a leg here.
Catch all of that. See, if I go the overhead, see, it's so light. She's sketching so light. That's what I have to make that adjustment to. That's how light that sketch is on there for me to pick it up. So sorry that it looks wonkety.
But I mean, how often, like, we just don't ever teach it because it's a separate class, isn't it, generally?
Yeah.
I like to think about my hawks, especially if they're at an angle, as circles. That helps me. So if you make sure your hawks are in the same sort of place, right? And then down the center of that, we now have the tail, right? And if the tail were up and we saw his little bum hole, I'll draw him with his tail up, and then you guys can do it with his tail down because John was funny. And let's have some fun. And so then I need to know that. I know his face is kind of a triangle. And it has a short end because his chin is high. I'm going to stick his muzzle in. And then right above his muzzle, I have his eye line. Once I have his eye line, I can drop those in. Now I've got a nose in. And they have those sort of fabulous little white little noses, which I really, really like. But, you know, you got to kind of get the little shape in. And then I'll have his little chin. Eyes at the side. And then I kind of wind this down. Now, when I paint him in, I do a different set of things. I kind of have to do a lot of this work mentally in my head. It's why it's a little bit harder. Remember, they have a good, solid knee here. So the haunches will come in, bend out for that muscle structure, build up over the knees, comes out. Hooves, we don't have to see any of that, thank goodness. This one is a little more tensioned out this way. So I can pull this here. This would probably put the bend in his hoof about there. So how do you get to this? You've got references, that helps, right? And then there's also just understanding how things work together, right? And how we get that thought out in our artists, in our little artist heads, right? So many strategies. As I'm drawing, I have so many strategies. I don't teach drawing because I don't do Russian classical drawing. So I guess I probably think that's what has the worth of teaching, but that's obviously silly. Got a little bit of, generally you'll see some support of the body back here, and then see this muscle right here and this muscle right here can help us find the leg if we need it. Right. And then once I have the eyes, the ears will come off into a little thing. Like that. And then we have antlers coming up here. And the antlers, it's a good idea to get the shape of the antlers before you deal with the hot mess. I don't even know how deer cope with this at all. This seems like, I mean, when everything eats you, I get that it's kind of nice to have big stabby things on top of your head going, don't eat me.
Yeah.
But if you want to pull your antlers in, you've got to get the curvature of them so that when you put them in, and I prefer to get them in with a brush stroke rather than just completely doing them in. But you know that the beginning of the antler will be here, and then you're going to have at least one up, pretty typically, not always, but at least one up. So these are like about drawing little kind of concentric. They're almost like doing branches. And I think that's why people get antlers that look like branches and branches that look like antlers. Because they're very similar in their nature. Right? Here we go. We're doing so good, guys. You're doing so good. Bring this little antler around. We won't really see the gesture of this antler until we highlight it, but we know that it's there. Then there's one up here. I don't know if I've just put too many there. I'm not really sure. I think I just wanted to make sure that there was something going on in his head. When you look at these, they all look wrong.
Yeah.
Go online and look at your antlers. You're like, your antlers did not grow right. And then you're like, oh, no, it's all of y'all's antlers are growing hot messy. But that's what they do because they have to be able to defend them. So, yeah, just some version of antlers. And then definitely on the eye, it comes forward to a point and it rounds out because it's a ball in there. And then I can kind of bring that in. And so see, once you start to do this, then you start to see the animal. Then from here, right, if I wanted to make a traceable, I come through and any line I like, I ink. Before I started doing them digitally, this is how every traceable on this channel was made.
Just put those drawings.
Yeah, and to make that easy for you guys, I also gave you just a deer traceable too.
Yeah.
So you go over the horns and everything. By the way, I gave you a little bum.
They were just asking about that. There is a traceable.
Yeah, there's a traceable for the deer, and there's a traceable for the deer in the landscape. I gave you both traceables. But you want to start learning how to make your own. And then you buy tracing paper, which we do sell. I would put a piece of tracing paper over this and then do another ink drawing. But that traceable then is forever. I can put this deer in any painting, which means if I work really hard to draw the best person in my life and I create this structure and then I do a traceable and I also make a scan, I'm forever. I don't have to do that again. And that is what every master did in the Middle Ages. That's what cartoons were. Because paper was expensive.
Yeah.
Everything was expensive. All right. That being said, I can either use the transfer or I can do a step. And I think I'm going to do step and I'm going to try to do him again.
Okay.
Freehanding with paint.
There we go.
Which is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get the other.
But I want it. You just saw me draw him. This is just harder. You use the transfer or the traceable or that. I am going to try to get him sort of, oh goodness, lightly sketched in here with paint. I'm going to use brown, I think. And I might even, where did I put my?
There we go.
See, he's supposed to be here. That's what I really, really want. I want to be able to have him here.
All right, you can do that.
I don't have any Cerro paper. That's why I'm stuck. That's why I showed him how to do it. I don't have any white Cerro paper and couldn't find any before the show.
I don't think there's any white Cerro paper around.
I know. So I'm looking for white Cerro paper. I have yellow Cerro paper, but yellow Cerro paper on a yellow painting
doesn't work so good.
It is dumb and it doesn't work.
You don't have any red either, huh?
No. So I'm going to place him about... I'm going to actually drop him just a little bit below the water line, I think. And so what I'll do here... Look at me looking for like some other solution. Have you guys ever had that happen where you're like, everything I need is missing? I don't know why. I might be able to... take chalk. If this doesn't work, I'll have to freehand them in, and you guys will have to just look at the how to draw step by step of the deer. So I'm taking my chalk. This is just chalk. And I'm just doing a rubbing, and I hope I have more chalk. Do I have more chalk? Yes. When you're an artist, the reason it's important to build up tons and tons of art skills is all the time in your studio, stuff just happens. You're out of a tool. They don't make it anymore. You're teaching live. All kinds of reasons. Now I'm going to put this down here. And I'm going to just tape that down. And I will test if drawing over it works. If it does, I'm the happiest, most mentally still person in the world. If not, I will just do it again. This is just printed true to size. And I'm just going a little bit below the water line because I know that puts him in the bushes. And more than anything, I want him in the bushes. It was important to me that he was in this environment, if that makes sense. So that's why I am putting him down a little lower. I'm using low tack tape to transfer him on. I hope you guys are liking this. I don't know, like liking to learn how to draw him. And
this has been very good.
I think now, anytime I say how to draw and paint, it may be a how to draw and paint. Bring it, y'all. Right? Right. This is how we roll. We drop our sound bites because our glasses are on our head. And we reposition our deer because he is standing a little weird. I like the reason I wanted the line on him is it keeps him, if you use this line to line up with that line, even if it's below it, it will keep him oriented the right way. Now I'm looking for a very hard pen or pencil. I will use this one. And I'm going to test right here at the back end. And the reason I'm going to test at the back end, oh man, if it works, it's so barely. Nope, not enough, guys. So that was me using chalk on the back. The other thing I can use is soft graphite. Softer than an HB. 2B might work. But what I won't do this time is I won't do a rubbing on the whole thing because I don't know. When you use a lot of the glazing medium, or if you use fluid paints, there's the plastics of the acrylics will eventually just get resistant. Just a weird true story. Let's see if this worked. So I'm pressing fairly hard. John is looking for Cerro paper. The reason I recommend Cerro paper is Cerro paper works really well. We almost have a line. It would give me scale, nothing else but scale. But it'll give me scale, babe. And from scale, I've got everything. So this is my 2B pencil. It's a soft lead pencil. Can you bring me a ballpoint pen? John? Can you bring me a ballpoint pen? That'll work. I'm gonna switch to a ballpoint pen because it will be more aggressive. I just thought there was some in the cabinet. How to be an artist. Get real determined. Never give up. I don't care if you're live and you're having trouble. You don't give up. You just go, this is my painting. And today, I'm painting it. I tape it down because if he moves, it ruins what little line I can get. So that's why. So look, I'm hoping that these moments help you guys. Sets this one channel apart, and two, helps you as students in your experience see me solve problems and therefore help you solve problems. I have no need. I'm not saying that I'm egoless. I am not. Like, John will tell you all the time, I will see something that just makes me go crazy. But where it comes to stuff with you guys, I've got none. I just want y'all to do great and be great. Wish me luck that this works at all, because otherwise I'll have to freehand it. And then I don't even really know. By the way, this is an invisible ballpoint pen. There is Cerro paper upstairs, but it's only yellow.
Ah.
I need white, red, or blue. I think blue or white. Black might be okay. Notice I just kind of am getting some of the antlers worked out because a lot of this I will have to just hope and hope and hope. All right, let's hope and hope and hope and hope. Barely, but maybe enough to get him in. Wow. All right, let's get a little detail brush. And start to paint sketch him in and hope that we've got something.
It's looking pretty good.
I'm using a number 1 liner. Princeton or Velvet Touch or any of those will work. So one thing to know is it's not just do you have the skill to draw or do you have the skill to paint or do you have the skill to do a traceable. It's when you have many, many skills that you start to be able to do art on your terms. So no matter what is thrown at you, you're okay. Obviously, graphite over gray is not my favorite. Now here I have to freehand it and just work it out because these lines aren't showing at all. And to do that, what I do is I keep my traceable nearby, and that helps me see those lines. Know what the heck I was doing, you know, like you do. Sorry, that was maybe a little bit more than everybody wanted to get into.
No, I think that's
but
great. Everyone super appreciates this time you have taken to do this.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so glad. And
No,
thank you so much, you guys, for supporting us and being a patron.
Big deal.
I want you all to thank our patrons because, like, what our patrons allow us to do, they don't make us come in and just do just a ton of stuff just for them, only them. They're here because they believe everybody should be able to paint and has the right to paint, and they're helping that happen. That this is because they just give them love. And I really appreciate you guys. And you guys help me. I was actually just showing John how you guys have kept us from having to just live on the YouTube AdSense of what's tracking now. That's because of you guys. Oh, I think I got him sketched in. Goodness gracious. Whew! What a journey, right?
Super journey. You ready for
Big
that?
journey. I'm ready for the next step or paint him in, either one.
Here we go. We'll do that, guys.
All right, I'm going to grab my number 6 sepia. And I may have to switch to the 4, but I'm going to try the number 6. And I'm going to do it in black. And I'm going to just breathe and pull a slow and controlled line. Same over here. Ooh. A little thicker than I would like, but what I'll do is I'll join that in and it'll be actually okay. Or I'll trim it down by rinsing out my brush. See, I'm able to erase that line I didn't like. Look at me just making decisions, changing my mind, making it where I'm more happy. Now, some of this I don't see till my highlights are on, and that's okay. Now, I actually think he might be a good candidate for being painted in black. And then the subtle highlights that reveal him, right? Because he's actually quite in shadow. So let's paint him in black first, but we're going to leave the white areas around his eyes and his nose unpainted, because that is all that's going to help us keep those together, or we'll have to be putting them back in by hand again. And by the way, for all my bravado, man, I will probably give in to the YouTube, powers that be on any titling or tagging that is required. But just sometimes I feel very independent and capable of doing that. And it really is you guys that allow me to, do the kind of stuff that I do, the animals dressed as people, or, some crazy big art quest project, where we're like meeting every week, or painting fairy tales, but like weird ones that nobody's ever heard of. Or a happy bee, or crazy chickens, or a Christmas. That's because you guys allow me the space to be able to do that. I'm going to leave the tail unpainted at this time as well. We're doing okay, guys. You got this. Doesn't have to be painted perfectly, but the deep value will help make it easier for him to feel like we are seeing him. He is a little lit, but he's very much in silhouette because of it being sunset. How are you guys liking how he came in?
I think it's really good. I think everybody's really, really, really liking this.
Look at that go. Then I'm going to come here and grab just a little bit of my white and brown and a smidge of black. Glazing medium to improve the flow. Maybe a little more blue. Make it a little more gray, right? And come up to the nose and the eyes. And that is just so that we still have it later. So there we got that. And now it's going to be so much easier to see him, to paint him. Let's dry him so he'll take some paint nicely.
Seems pretty good. And so, this is just such a good deer. It's such a good deer. I love all the rainbow chat in the chat. And if you guys have not been in the chat, you should definitely join the chat, because the chat's where it's at for chat. And I think that's about all the stuff I can say about chat. So, if you're away on a commercial break, just know I've waxed philosophical about chat while you were away. And that's just fill in the dead space. So you can go to a website and find resources,
Boom, boom,
all
boom.
that kind of stuff.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom.
But see, we now are ready for a step.
Yeah, and we're almost done.
Wow.
It's going to go real fast from here. Which is crazy, but it is. Oh, it's looking so good. All right. The first thing that I will do is, I think I'm going to rough him in and then put in his details. So let's take our number 4D, or do I want smaller? I think I want smaller. You can use a round, a bright, a filbert, anything that gives you control. I'm going to use, I really like these, a number 0 Raphael Textura. Just a little tighter and less fluffy than the hog bristle, and that's why I'm picking it. I'm going to take a little bit of my cad red and my cad yellow. And my burnt sienna. And I'm going to mix up a little grip of colors. And start to give him just a little bit of the, oh gosh, it's like almost like a highlighting that he'll have, just to show some of him. So when you really, so when we teach people to paint as teachers online to beginners, and especially if it's in that, you know, thing where a lot of people are coming from painting parties to YouTube, a lot of times the silhouettes are just done as a black silhouette because it's a good first concept. But a good second concept, which is why this is 2 Hoot, is that things are in silhouette, but we do see some of the object. And how do we get that shown in our painting? Right, is kind of some of what we're doing here. Brushing that around. So that's a little more brown on this side, right? And don't go down too much. And I can always put dark back so I don't worry about it too much. Right? It doesn't take a ton on him for him to start to really start to stand out and be all, I am king of the forest. I'm majestic. You know I am. Yes, I'm channeling my inner Lindsay Nicole. I'm the king of the forest, yo. I'm all cute and fuzzy. I got horns on my head. And they're going to fall off soon, which is weird. Somebody's going to catch me on a trail cam and film it, put it all over YouTube, and I don't like it. That's what our deer says. He's like, I don't need my worst weird moment online. Stop filming me losing my horns. Putting it up for this weird lady who watches it on repeat. I'll take a little bit of that down the center of the body. And we'll let that all have a bit of a dry. And I'm going to grab a detail brush, number 1 detail, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of my white, but it's going to be my grade white, right? So that's going to be the brown and the blue. I'm putting a lot of fluid medium into it so that it comes off my brush like it's not the worst. I can just come in there and put in his little markings on his little eyes. I think he's just fun to paint. A little bit on the outside of his nose. Make some little lines on the tail. Again, it's not white, is it? A little bit of fluid paint. I'm going to roll my brush because I'm going to try to do a little highlighting on my horns, which again won't be white. It will be light. See how by putting just the highlight in his horns, starts to let him show. He's like, yeah, I'm magnificent. You know it's true. I'm going to put a little bit of that, I don't know. Whatever that cartilagey thing. Watch Lindsay Nicole if you want to know what that cartilagey thing is, because I don't. But I did probably once, but I don't now. Oh, he's so cute. Who's cute? Oh, I still cute? I think so cute. I'm going to come in here and get a little bit of that gray blue. I'm going to make short little marks on the inside of his ears to kind of represent the little ear fur that's going in there. You don't have to... This is where you're doing the detail without the detail. Remember, we talk about that all the time. Detail, no detail. I kind of dry brush a little highlight right there. A little bit of white under his little chin there. Little corners in up the side. I'll come put the black in a second, because it will change the white's position just a little bit. But once I have the little corner, then I can easily put in his little deal. Oh, he's doing so good. Now, while he has dried some, I may come back with my black and inform. What, is everything okay? Oh, okay.
Did you see that?
I did not see. Oh, wow. Lulabelle. Thank you. You guys are the best students to teach. I wouldn't want anyone else. So love you guys. Ask the best questions. You're super kind. You're so nice to each other. I can't, one of the cool things that you would be surprised at is in our group, I don't have to take down a lot of posts. People actually are so considerate that if for whatever reason a fight kind of breaks out over a post, they take it down themselves. People don't, we really, I'm so glad, attract people who are more involved in people being happy than being right. And people that are really about being right do not last long with us. But if they're about caring about other people, if they are, I'm just adding another coat of black because it does not look right to me without it. Look at that. That's just really good, right? It's really good. Now I'm going to go back to my detail for a second, and I'm going to get my black. I come in and kind of put in my little deer nose. I'm going to make some little marks down the center of his little tail there. I'm going to dry brush a little bit over that highlight so it's pushed back a bit. I could have glazed it, but also doing that work. So, you know, wherever you're at in the world, put that little detail brush to the side. I'm going to rinse this out for a second. I made, remember this was our bird sienna in ultramarine blue, and I brought black and gosh, yellow ochre over here. It added white from earlier. I'm going to just keep working in that color because it's already close to what I'm looking for. But again, if you're trying to make it, it is going to be a combination of yellow ochre and burnt sienna. And you can do Mars black or ultramarine blue. Putting a little bit of that. And a little bit right here. And maybe a little right there. Buff his butt. Buff it! Buff it, Buffy! And come along this little outside edge. I don't want to do too much with him. It's just easy to overdo. Real fast. Real fast. Slightly lighter. Back on the black a little bit. Again, he's a silhouette, so it's super important. Let me just make sure there's enough dark there that his little butt really shows his butt. And then the last thing I can do to sort of just make him awesome is I can come in with a little bit of my liner brush and come on the outside edge here. Like just a little light was a glow around him. There it goes. Now he has some dappled light. He's just doing so well. My little detail brush to the side. And then we are on to the next step, and I mean nearly done. But let's take a look at where we're at so far.
So good. So amazing.
Draw and paint a deer.
That's what you did.
This is a simplistic landscape, but it teaches complex stuff. I'm going to come here and I'm going to grab a little more black, and I'm going to...
Wait, was you on a new step?
Yeah, new step. I felt I had said it, but I probably didn't. Oh, okay.
Sure.
You know, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make these just a little cleaner. Even though they're going to have so much foliage, it probably won't matter. It was bothering me. And if something ever bothers you when you're painting, just you know, fix it. Even if it's something that you're like, oh no, you just came in, the how to draw the deer was earlier. I actually like this one now better than, well, no, he did pretty good too. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the deer.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to come, I think I'll come back to my first color mixing page from earlier. This is the Fabriano 1264 pad, and it's really good to practice techniques, to do sketches in, to do multimedia in, to do watercolor, to do studies. It's true multimedia. Now, for the next bit here, I got to show you some color mixes. So the first color mix that I need you to be aware of is Cad Red and Dox Purple. I'm going to be putting up more Cad Red. I will do this expense so you don't have to worry about it, okay?
All right.
Then Cad Purple with a little more Cad Red.
Oh, yeah, that is cool.
And then a little more Cad Red. And we got some Cad Red. And then a little bit of yellow into the purple Cad Red. And we can even do it where it's a little more orange, but it's got a little purple on it. So on our surface, on our canvas, this will be super vibrant, super saturated, but not here. And this is something I also want you to start paying attention as you paint with me, as we level up, because we're leveling up. We've been here 10 years. We know stuff. So we're going to really bring this extra education in here. So when we're doing this, I want you to pay attention, like just mentally, it's this vibrant here, but it looks so much more vibrant here because it's relational. It's relationship to the objects around it. So sometimes something will seem really dim and not even orange here, and you put it on your canvas and you're like, that is psycho orange. That's so orange. That's what that is. And remember to make notes, put a little dot of your purple and your red and your yellow. So later, if you're ever looking for that color combo, if you're ever looking for that information, right, you can come back and be like, I know what I used. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to use all your CAD red. You will save money and be able to paint with more expensive paints if you do this.
Huh.
Because you will not waste paint mixing the wrong color. You won't mix entire plops of color with an entire plop of color and get the wrong color. And then, you know, it's not that we don't always figure out a way for us to fix it, because we do, don't we? We always find a way through. Put a little fresh yellow out and a little fresh red. But it is much, much harder. And I don't want you guys to go through that struggle. Did we decide if we were going to do the unboxing later?
I don't know. I don't mind.
Oh, you were going to talk about it during one of the things that I think we forgot to talk about it.
Well, I think that we're kind of cruising along here. So probably what we're going to do is after this, we're going to take a break because we'll need a little break. Get some food, get some snackies, and then maybe this evening.
It's just that I got a bunch of Mikador in, and I want to open it up, and I don't want to not share it with you. Can I put up? It'll be on Facebook, and I'll put it up as a live event over
Saturday. We could do it tomorrow. Or we could do it tonight.
Oh, Sunday's a good idea. That gives everybody a chance to go. Oh, what?
We could put it. We could do an unboxing.
What if we did breakfast? A breakfast unboxing.
Do you want to
like a coffee, morning coffee? I could get a Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a Starbucks. I could get a Starbucks.
I'm good with that.
He'll get me Starbucks if I'm gonna get up early for y'all.
Yeah, I'll do
Starbucks. That. Okay, all right. Let's do that. We'll do it. I'll set it up in the morning. Watch for the event on Facebook. I'll do it, and I'll even have some announcements.
At the end of this, at the end of the video, we'll show you what we're gonna unbox. I'll show you real quick, just so they can see, because and some people in chat don't know what it is.
Yeah, like if you're not into it, you wouldn't want to show it, but if you were into it, you really want to show up, because I'm going to be unboxing, testing it, and swatching it, so we can do short videos of it. And it's the kids' Mikador stuff, and it's really good. All right. And it's not sponsored. I bought it myself. Okay, I'm going to bring this out. Now, I can do this technique with both my angle brush and my D brush, and I think I'm going to use my D brush. If I can remember where there it is. All right. So if you remember from earlier, this was our number 4 D brush, and you could use any of the brushes that we've demonstrated twice in this that are going to be timestamped later, because remember, we went in the book and I showed you all the different brushes. If you like, can I use a different brush than a D brush? Yes. And I have that example twice in the video from earlier. So know it's here. You can come back to it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my CAD red over to my Doc's purple. We kind of warned you about this, right, from earlier. It's distinctly red, but it is definitely got purple in it. And I'm going to, what I will do is I will put my trunk back. Sometimes I will paint preciously around a tree, but sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to put that trunk back because I got to live. Just making little marks. Around the corner. And again, we're going to put the trunk back, so don't worry about it. Make sure you leave little moments that are open. And again, we're putting the trunk back. But you got to make sure there are moments that are open, because if there's not, and there's no room for your squirrels to live in your tree. Squirrel can't live in your tree. There's no room for the squirrel. Gotta leave room for that squirrel. Where's that squirrel gonna live? You know, it's gotta have enough places to hide. But he also, you know, needs to have like room to jump from branch to branch. So if you're solid with all your stuff, then what's he gonna do? And you can see that leaves so the gold comes through the red. The doxazine purple and the red, the gold comes through and makes it glow. It is not just Thomas Kincaid and Bob Ross that uses CAD as a color.
Huh.
And we all use it because it do this. It's not that it glows when they dim the lights in the Bob Ross gallery. It's just color theory. It's just that's how luminant that particular pigment is to our little eyes. Are like, it's so beautiful and toxic. Because we think, let's be honest, we think toxic things are sometimes beautiful, right? It's coming out here. I think it's nice to remember to taper those little branches out. And
That's nice.
I really just try to think about the shape of my tree.
Yeah.
And this color is the deep depth of the leaves and the branches. It's going to get brighter and brighter. Now, I'm noticing on here that I may want to even come in a couple places with my purple, which will read as black, but is not black. You can see I just mix the color again. Because as I'm painting, I'll start to go, oh, I can see that I need this much of this color. I wonder if Honey's having fun.
Yeah.
Imagine
so.
19 birthday. It's got to be so good. It's actually it's technically tomorrow. Oh, that's why I hadn't scheduled it, because it was Honey's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Might have to be Monday. I don't know.
Well, she won't be up that early in the morning.
It's actually true. I could do this show on my eldest child's birthday, and they would not be up. It would be sleeping through for sure. Not an early riser. Mom got to talk to Honey on the cruise ship.
Yeah?
Yeah. And meet Jaden, Honey's significant other.
That's neat.
I don't know. It was fun. It's shockingly long before Mom realized that she was talking to somebody she didn't know, though. I was like, my mom is just unbelievably friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was good because it was somebody we wanted to be friendly to. I just haven't put all the lights out. We only see the value of this in comparison with other colors. So it's about kind of getting this out, and then you build it out and you build it out. And this is going to curve out that way. And you'll notice I'm just on the toe. I didn't do anything. You could do this stroke that we did down here too. That would work as well. I just wanted the fluffiness of the brush.
Nice little trees.
Nice little trees.
Big
My
tree.
little tree lives in a healthy, happy forest and has lots of water annually. My little deer isn't too hot this summer. He's so comfortable in his cool, happy little forest. And he's glad we haven't realized that we need to put predators back in our national parks. And he loves that. He's going to go eat somebody's flowers. He's thinking about it. He's going, nom, nom, nom. Nom, nom, nom. You don't see me. Gonna go get a little girlfriend, get some flowers. He's ready to have a day. My little deer lives in a healthy forest with happy trees. And there's plenty of rainfall, and the air is clear and unpolluted. And he is so, so happy. So I'm just adding a little more purple to it. You can see that that helps inform a little bit of the tree, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely. This darker purple where I want to kind of inform an underside of the tree. I have lights and darks, and lights hit me, affect me differently. Now, rinsing, 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 rinsing. A little more red.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more red into the purple. It's so much more red. Therefore, lighter. So when you put a little more red on there, it gets to be a bit more of that fall-y sort of flavor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just a wonderful, happy tree, tree, tree. I have this four-season painting. It might even be hard to find even if you search, because I don't know if you've noticed this lately, but like search doesn't always pull up everything that I have done. Even when you search directly for it, it's really interesting. So if like it's older, sometimes YouTube makes it hard for you to find it, like actively. So, but it's four seasons, and there's these autumn trees that use kind of a very similar version to this technique, and man, they are awesome. They are terrific. Do you know, I feel so strong in what I'm doing, I could teach Monarch of the Glen. Remember that big one I did?
Oh, yeah.
Raise money for the aminos, because I like to raise money for the aminos. Raise money for the aminos. Are you having a nice time in your little forest? It's free of people, free of problems, free of conflict, just you happily grazing with your herd. Sorry, I just like to imagine that the beings in my paintings have better lives. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And again, remember, we're going to put those trees back, so that will help those trees a lot too. I can come into my yellow, lots and lots of light yellow. And you'll see that almost is the background color. It's so wild.
Yeah, it
Everything
is.
looks so vibrant that sometimes it's hard to see. Too good. Rinse out. Let's get our brown brush going with our black paint again. Man, we're close, my friends.
You are.
We are so close. But now we're going to paint our trunks black again. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to make little branches that go places
Yeah.
to hold up all these wonderful little leaves. Like, how else would these leaves even exist? Just adding little bits. And I'll show you on my line. If you've never done this, it is, let me roll the brush. You don't want paint creeping up the sides, as you guys know, right? So you're coming along, you're doing a tree. And then sometimes you will put little branches that exist in the world out like little twigs like that.
Yeah.
You can also do this style. So there's the hard angle and then the curve one. So there's the doot style and then the curve one. Either one works. And just one last little smudge of our colors, our darker ones. Oh goodness, that was wet. That was a mistake. So I brought too much water over to my paint and it over thinned it. I will have to remix because it will not do what I'm about to ask it to do if I don't. So I'll take my purple over here and my red and get my dark color. Dark color. Dark night.
Do you remember, was it, when you were talking about Monarch of the Glen painting, was it the one from Acrylic April?
No, it was the TWF one that we did for the Wildlife Foundation to raise money for wildlife so they could do rescue in Texas.
Oh.
And we painted it live for the auction, and it was like a 4860 because, you know, even then I was a crazy person, and there is a time lapse. It's one of the older videos on the channel. There is a time lapse of it. You can see John, you can see me running around. We're all having a good time. It did find a home, and then it ended up getting donated to a Goodwill.
Yeah.
So it got purchased. I don't know the story of how it ended up being donated to Goodwill. It is a stunning painting. So that surprised me, but it's not the first time that's ever happened to me. I've kind of learned that sometimes you never know what goes on in people's lives. And then I've just decided I've actually started thinking like I would drop my paintings in Goodwills to see if people find them like when we travel. I have too many paintings. He's done. And sorry, just amused myself a little bit. Anyways, so he ended up in resale, and then somebody watched me, found him, and purchased it for like $25.
Like, wait a minute, and went back and got it.
And if you want to buy a painting, I've got this will be posted for sale soon.
Before you go on to that, you should sign your painting.
I should sign it.
Sign
well, they saw it. They know. I don't know when though. I sent over the stuff, but I don't know when it's going to happen. Soon. The only thing right now for sale is the two ghosts. John's going to get the Mikador so you can see what we're going to do live, and then we will let y'all go. And onto your day, onto your lives, onto your beautiful, amazing lives with your pets and your friends and your family. And if you are far from your pets and your friends and your family, what would be your pets and your friends and your family? Okay, so I will show two things. Or do you want me to show all the things? That is what I'm opening and testing tomorrow is the Mikador Besties. I have several of the sets. They're pencils. Wait. Check out this. I'm not going to show you everything. This last thing I'm going to show you. Check out those watercolors. So I found this company. I'm obsessed with them.
Crazy brush box is good too.
Oh yeah, but I want to save the craziest brushes you've ever seen in your life because I think I can do a whole painting with it.
I think you can too.
So I have to do some testing tomorrow. I have to work in my book. So if you have your 1264 and you're wondering, is any of this good for investing? I will when I get up in the morning and have coffee before my kid is up. I will come down and I'll do an unboxing and demo of all those products. So if you were here today would like to do that tomorrow, you could do that. Also, there'll be a short here with a cute, adorable snowman. I wouldn't want to miss him. He already got adopted a new home, but he's an upcoming lesson. Check out the upcoming lessons. hit those reminder buttons. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications on, because if your notifications aren't on, I'm going to get a letter from you. I don't know when it is. Some email at some point saying, did you stop painting? Because it will seem like I stopped painting. If you don't actively, you'll think I quit. And then you'll come back and you're like, are these 500 paintings I missed? Yeah, because it was a year. It was 500. So, but definitely, yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications if you don't want to miss it. Go by our website, sign up for the newsletter, sign up for text. I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep up texting at this pace, because right now we're in a trial period and they're letting us just enjoy texting.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at the cost of it. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's okay. I'm thinking about going and I was joining the University of Michigan's science where I can learn Python, because I was looking at it, and if I've got basically, I just need to be able to write a scripting engine.
No, you just need to be able to speak Python well enough to know if ChatGPT wrote a code wrong.
Right.
Okay, so that's the world we live in, right?
Well, it's getting there, but
it's getting there. So we're working on all those things. Like, those are all things. Oh, my hair today. We're working on all those things. I hope you love today's painting. The bee is Tuesday. He is short. He is easy. I didn't have a. I will make sure that I drop a how to draw him too, because I think you guys like. I show it in the thing, but he's so cute, and I can show you how to do others. So I'll make sure that, like, maybe short drops with him about the drawing, and then after that I'll try to make sure they're in the lives. Do you want to paint a snowman? Asked Lulabelle, and I definitely do with you. All right, you guys, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.